Hello everyone, thanks for joining us tonight here on NewsWest 9+. We're getting a live look at Odessa College right now. That's where many students have gathered and are eager to find out the results on the $355 million Odessa College bond proposition. The money will go toward enhancing education, foster industry partnerships, and bring the community closer together. If you have not voted yet, it is not too late. You have until 7 o'clock tonight to go out and cast your ballot. NewsWest 9 will be your election headquarters, so stick with us as we are just a couple hours away from getting those results in across many different races. We have team coverage throughout the Permian Basin tonight, bringing you the latest on important local races. Tyler Dupnick is covering the Odessa mayoral race. Lilybeth Valles is focusing on the at-large race for Midland City Council. And Cindy Jolivet is live tonight at Heather Bredemis's watch party. She's a candidate running for the District 1 seat on Midland City Council. We'll check in with all of our reporters in just a moment. First, let's check in with Hunter Alcocer, who's with us in studio right now. Hunter, you've been following the City Council at-large race, and what can you tell us about this race here now?
Alex, both of these candidates actually have some of the same priorities based on past conversations that we've had with them. Both of them want to address the same issues in the city, like water and, of course, trash. But a lot of them are talking about wanting to be transparent with their constituents as well.
Transparency in 2020. Anybody that knows me, I'm an open book. They can call me. I return every single call. It may take me 24 hours, but I do call everybody. You know, on the dais, we have tried to do everything in open session. Very rarely do we go in an executive session. We try to be as transparent as we can.
Now, Stoker says that he thinks that City Council can do better on transparency and feels that his experience at Meals on Wheels shows that he is the better candidate in this regard.
So we've got to go work on the transparency of these things to say, these are the contracts we're working with. These are the deals we're making with our staff. They need to be open and honest and fair. I talked about in my debate Monday, what we've done at Meals on Wheels is work very hard to make sure that our books, our financials, our policies are available to the public.
We'll keep you updated here on NewsWest 9 on this race and others, and on newswest9.com. Alex?
All right, Hunter, thank you. And one of the biggest local races on the ballot here locally is for Odessa. Mayor incumbent Javier Joven is looking for re-election tonight, and he's squaring off against challenger Cal Hendrick. Let's get out now to Tyler Dupnick, who will be covering this race tonight. Tyler, you've covered a lot of stories out of Odessa, but I don't think any get much bigger than the race for mayor.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. Perhaps the biggest race here in West Texas today is that race for Odessa mayor. I'm here at UTPB's D. Kirk Edwards Human Performance Center, one of many voting locations across Ector County today where people have been coming in and out, casting their ballots throughout the day here on Election Day. 12 days of early voting before this saw over 29,000 people cast their ballots in Ector County. And now here on Election Day, the last votes are rolling in here with just under an hour until polls close. Now, as you mentioned, Alex, this marquee race is between two candidates, current mayor of Odessa Javier Joven and his challenger Cal Hendrick. Both candidates discuss with me what they will do in the office of the mayor.
We'll have to continue to come back and reestablish that of what the majority of Odessans want. They want lower taxes. They want basic services. They want them consistently. And in the end, they want to reassure that they have someone at City Hall that thinks like them and is not trying to convince them to think like him, but we all think alike. We hold the same values.
There's a couple of things I think we have to look at. Number one, those master plans I talked about. We have a master water reclamation plan, we have a master water plan, we have a master transportation plan. We need to get those updated, follow them. Water engineers, road engineers have already you've already given us the answer. All we have to do is follow the plan. So I want to follow those plans.
Now, Mayor Hoeven added that he's been consistent since his time on City Council dates back to 1995, and he plans to continue that over the next 4 years as mayor. Hendrick added that there are solutions to every problem and that they have to work the problem. Now, this race tonight is certainly one of the biggest. We'll be keeping a close eye on it. We'll obviously be keeping a close eye on several other key races around West Texas, both on air and online, as well as digitally on our 9+ app. So be sure to stay tuned to everything we have. We've seen many people here coming in and out to get their votes cast here as time ticks, of course, closer to 7 when polls ultimately close. And so we will see how it all shakes out as numbers start to roll in here soon, Alex.
Tyler, thank you. Let's stay in Odessa. We're checking in on the race between Mark Mata and Eddie Mitchell. They are running for the Odessa City Council District 1 seat. Mata has been in the City Council District 1 seat for more than 20 years now and hopes to get re-elected tonight. Meantime, Mitchell ran for office 4 years ago and says he continues to see issues arise in the city and wants to address those problems. Tonight we are hearing from both of the candidates on what problems they have recognized within the city and how they plan to handle them. Mata tells us some of his biggest concerns and how he will challenge those issues.
Definitely, one of the biggest concerns that we have in our city is our infrastructure. For decades, it's been neglected, and it's been left untreated, and now we have a ticking time bomb. So one of the things that I'm really focused on is getting our infrastructure fixed, which we're in the process of doing that already. You know, we've allocated $129 million to water lines. We've allocated $25 million to valves. So we're on the right process already. We have our water treatment plants almost fixed, so it's ready to go.
We also talked to Mitchell about what he wants to tackle should he take office.
Biggest concerns is we're not making District 1 grow. We're just letting it deteriorate instead of doing infrastructure with new buildings, new businesses. We're not doing anything. And my main concern besides downtown is that Interstate 20 and Grant intersection, there's nothing there. We need to make people stop in Odessa and do something with us. If I don't like driving to 42nd Street for restaurants all the time. We need to do something downtown, something there. Not only that, that brings jobs for kids on the south side. They can go there and learn a trade. Even if it is fast food, just learn your trade. You're not sitting at home on the games all the time.
It is obvious that both candidates have big plans for the future of Odessa and have outlined some of their policies for us. Stay tuned here. Tonight we will bring you live updates on this race for City Council District 1. Jordan, polls are still open until 7 o'clock tonight, and for the early voters this morning, it was a bit chilly out there for them. Looks like the folks going out now or even standing in line, they probably need to bundle up too.
Yeah, I would recommend at least a light jacket just because we're not used to temperatures getting this cold already. But hey, you know what? We're given the hand that we're dealt with. Got down to 40 this morning. Now a little bit more comfortable, 63 degrees. Humidity not that bad. Winds nice and calm too, so you don't have a big wind chill factor like we did this morning. If you're heading out to the polls, you still got about an hour. I recommend doing it. We got 59 in Hobbs, 67 in Wink, 76 in Dryden. So a nice little variation, but nothing too uncomfortable. Nothing but those clear skies hanging around the region. Now the sun is setting though, temperatures are going to drop. So yeah, we already hit 67 around 5 o'clock. Here we are now at 63 and around 7 o'clock getting down to about 60 with those winds still staying pretty calm. But overall, if you haven't gotten the chance to go out and vote, I highly recommend going and doing it now. Alex?
Yeah, pretty good idea, Jordan. Thank you. Hey, let's visit now with Lilybeth Valles. She is covering the Midland City Council at-large seat. 4 candidates are vying for 2 spots on City Council. Lilybeth is live tonight in Centennial Library in Midland. Lilybeth, polls are still open for about another 45 minutes or so, but tell us more about this race.
Hey Alex, yeah, right now everybody is excited. Cars are pouring in, and remember, the clock is ticking. Joining me right now is Councilman Eric Davidson. Councilman Davidson, you've been in your position for about 6 months now. Can you remind voters why you are seeking to be re-elected?
Yeah, thanks, Lilybeth. So I'm seeking for re-election because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done here in this city. You know, in the 6 months I've been on council, I've helped, lower our total tax rate. I've helped bring back millions of dollars to the city's budget. and I've helped repair some broken relationships. But we need to realize, there's still a lot of relationships that need to be repaired. There's still a lot of stuff we can do when it comes to making sure that we have fully staffed first responders and that we're running just a truly business-focused mindset city. And that's a promise I've made to the citizens. That's a promise I made to everybody during this election, is I'll work hard as your city councilman and continue to work hard to make sure that we're accomplishing all the goals that we need to do for this city.
Thank you to Councilman Davidson. Best of luck to you. And a reminder also, we also spoke to the other candidates, including incumbent Robin Poole, candidate Rance Norton, as well as candidate John Burkholder. Here is why they are seeking for your vote.
You know, when I ran in 2021, my heart is just absolutely for the people of Midland. I was born and raised here. I love this community. It's where I've raised my family. And so I just really wanted to give back to the community. And so I've really enjoyed my 3 years of service. I love the work that City Council does. I don't think whenever I went into this position, I realized just every facet that we cover. And so I've thoroughly enjoyed the work, working with the people and working on behalf of the people. And so I'd just like another 3 years to continue that work and finish some of the projects that we've got going.
I'm running for the City Council at large position of Midland because at my core, I'm a servant leader. That's the way I was raised by my family. You know, I was raised in a middle class family in a poverty type neighborhood. And one thing that was always entrusted in me and given to me when I was younger was you need to help people. You need to be there for people and you need to take care of people. And one thing that I've done throughout my life is take care of people and be there for people. And when this race came up, I decided, you know, it's time to give back to Midland. It's time to give back to the community and move Midland forward.
I am a longtime Midlander, a native West Texan, and I absolutely love my community. I've been involved in different various organizations in the community, and currently serve as a planning and zoning committee member here in the city of Midland. And it was one of my ways to want to give back and learn more about the city. And I just feel like I have particular talents and knowledge that I think would benefit all Midlanders in the city as well.
And again, polls close in less than an hour, so you have plenty of time to get out here and cast your vote. We'll be monitoring those numbers back for you. Alex, back to you.
Lilybeth, thank you. We move on to the Midland City Council District 1 race. That is between Brian Stubbs and Heather Bredemis. Those candidates are looking to replace Scott Dufford, who is not running for re-election. We're hearing from both Stubbs and Bredemis tonight on what their policies are to address citywide problems. Stubbs tells us that issues can't be ignored and he wants to hit the ground running to fix them.
One of the big things I've learned is just the little problems that are out there that don't get much spotlight. There's a neighborhood in our district that doesn't have sewer or curbs, and they don't know why, and no one really knows why they don't have sewer and curbs. And that's something that we really need to go figure out. How do we make that neighborhood equal to all the other neighborhoods in our city? And there's a lot of things like that out there. Trash pickup, construction's a big one that we've got to get better at figuring out when we're doing construction and communicating when we're doing construction. And then also just a lot of communication. When are we blocking off a street to do a pothole? How do we know that? I know the city has a new app, but we need to make sure everybody's on that app so they know when streets are going to be blocked off just for a day to fix a pothole or whatever the case may be. So it's a lot of communication and then a lot of just kind of hearing what people are saying so we can go fix those little problems and make Midland better for everybody.
Meantime, Bredemis tells us her goals and what her master plan is, so to speak, for the future of Midland.
Well, my goal is to develop a comprehensive master plan for the entire city. I want to advocate for District 1. We've seen a lot of new housing developments in that area, and we know that there are infrastructure needs, but we also need to plan for commercial retail development as well, and I'd like to see a city park. Most importantly, we need to listen to our constituents. This summer, the city put out a citizen survey, and overwhelmingly the response came back that our residents want to prioritize roads, water, and public safety. So my goal will be to speak with our city staff about it, our city manager, and make sure that we are working towards those goals.
All right, now that you've heard from both candidates and some of their policies, let's get out now to NewsWest 9's Sydney Jolivet. She is live tonight at Brian Stubbs' watch party at the Midland Apex Club. And Sydney, with polls almost closing here, how's Brian and the party feeling tonight?
That's right, Alex. I'm here with Brian Stubbs, one of the two candidates that is running for Midland City Council District 1. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thank you for having us.
And so let's jump right in. So you have, over your journey of campaigning, you've been talking to your constituents. What is something that they really stressed, that they really need fixed, and how would you immediately take action if elected to kind of address the problems they're seeing?
The biggest one is just roads, especially on the north side of town. So we've got to get the north part of town on the strategic plan for the city. We've got to start talking to the TxDOT and the state to figure out what's going on to get those roads connected and really get a good plan so that growth of the north side of the city can start and be safe for everybody who's traveling those roads.
Absolutely. And so another thing I wanted to touch on was communication and transparency, especially in local government. That's such an important topic. So if elected, how would you ensure that transparency between District 1 constituents and the city councilmen, sir?
Well, it's really just being available. So I hope everybody has seen in my campaign, I'm always available. So cell phone, come find me. And we really do need to communicate. And I think one of the biggest secrets of representative government that we have is communication. So we need to be out in front of people. And again, that's what I've learned. It's easy to do now. We've met a lot of people. We just need to be there. And that's really what I want to bring to the city council is just being available. I want to set up things like just town hall meetings. I want to make sure we have good input in our city council and our boards. And that just takes building relationships with people that want to get involved. So that's really, really important and want to start that immediately.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to add?
Just thanks everybody for your support. This has been a lot of fun. And again, I hope we have a great night tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time today, and best of luck to you in the polls. Be sure to stay with NewsWest 9 for all of your live election coverage. For now, I'm Sydney Jolivet reporting in Midland. Back to you.
Sydney, thank you. Hey, heading out to the polls can maybe feel a bit overwhelming for some, especially if someone makes you feel uncomfortable when you're trying to cast your ballot. Tonight, Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team explains your rights.
Verify here with your election fast fact. Did you know that voter intimidation is illegal? It's true, according to these sources. Federal and state laws say it's a crime to intimidate or interfere with a person trying to vote. The ACLU explains this could be in the form of aggressively questioning a person's qualifications to vote, including citizenship status, spreading false information about voting requirements, or other forms of harassment, particularly towards non-English speakers or voters of color. Many states also ban items with a candidate's name because it could influence a person's vote at the ballot box. The ACLU says voter intimidation is rare, but if someone does try to interfere with your right to vote, you should report it to poll workers, local or state election officials, or the U.S. Department of Justice's Voting Rights Hotline. With your Fast Fact, I'm Brandon Lewis.
We have another beautiful night in West Texas. We got the sun setting early. We got to get used to that now since the time change. Temperatures, you can't really ask for anything better though. 63 degrees. If you haven't made it out to the polls yet, you got about 40 minutes. Come on, what are you doing? Don't waste any more time. We still got nice humidity. We got winds coming in from the west-southwest, only 7 miles an hour. But temperature-wise, you know what? Yeah, 63 for Midland. But I got temperatures getting down into the 50s in New Mexico, up into the 70s near the Rio Grande. But overall, everything is very comfortable. Maybe a light jacket just in case. Clear skies, no rain chances. You don't have to worry about it, especially for the next hour or so. Nice light winds. But once the sun goes down, which, well, it already has, temperatures are just going to start dropping off pretty quickly to the point that tonight we got more of those 40s once again. About 48 degrees. Kind of in par with where we should be for this time of year, but it's also something we want to keep an eye on. Notice the winds, though, coming in from the south. That tends to mean warmer conditions during the day. Well, not today, but tomorrow. 76. I say go with the hot coffee because you're going to have a pretty chilly start. But don't worry, that sun is going to be hanging around all day long throughout the early part of the morning into the afternoon. But then we notice a lot more cloud cover. What's going on there? Well, first off, we're going to get a quick little burst of pop-up showers going into Thursday morning. And then by the afternoon, you start to notice a big line of storms really pop up late evening. This is actually going to be with our next cold front. Yeah, we're going to keep our eye on it because there is that small chance of severe weather, just that level 1 risk mainly for Abilene, San Angelo, even all the way down towards San Antonio. But other than the rain, temperatures, they're going to drop. But if you don't like those cool temperatures, that's okay. It's going to warm right back up. Hey, at least on Friday, all those rain chances go away in time for game time. Sounds good to me, right, Jenna?
Hey, Jordan, it sure does sound good. Thanks so much. 7 straight league titles. No team has done it in the District 2 6A. Midland Legacy came into the 2024 season with a chance. The Rebels now sit in second in the district. The path back to the league crown, well, it's going to be difficult. Legacy will have to beat Odessa High on the road. It also needs San Angelo Central to beat Friendship. Then the Rebs and Tigers would share a piece of that district title. Either way, though, LHS will return to the postseason. This is what head coach Clint Hartman, how he assesses his group and where it stands with 1 week left in the regular season.
And I think that we're peaking at the right time. For 46 minutes, we let them score a point last week, but we've had to fix some things, and that's okay. It ain't about that. It's about right now. Guys that have done it like me long enough, we know that it's about peaking at the right time, and I feel really, really good about our football team.
Midland High will also make its return to the playoffs in 2024. Permian is the final test on the docket for MHS. The Bulldogs haven't beaten the Panthers since 2016, and seeding is on the line this Friday night. Here's what head coach Thad Fortune wants to see from his group this week and moving forward.
From here on out, we're going to play nothing but good people, and so I want to see us to continue to improve. There's still a lot to play for. The winner of this game will be the 3 seed in district, and so that's finish with a winning district record. So there's still a whole lot to get done this week.
The season finally got underway this afternoon for Midland College. MC squared off against Seminole State College in its opener. Well, the Shap season started on the wrong foot, though. Midland College lost 93-82, and MC will now head back home for the Bob Chapman Basketball Classic that will be held in the Shap Center. Odessa College also opened its season last night with its 77-62 victory over Northern Oklahoma College. Enid OC is competing in its second game right now against McLennan. Alex?
Jenna, thank you. Well, the U.S. Department of Justice has agreed not to send election monitors into Texas polling places. This comes after Attorney General Ken Paxton sued the Justice Department's announcement to deploy election monitors to 86 jurisdictions across multiple states, including here in Texas. Paxton argued that no federal statute allows federal agents to monitor state elections when they are prohibited by Texas state law. The Department of Justice has agreed today that election monitors will remain at least 100 feet outside of polling locations. Tonight, we're keeping tabs on the biggest race here in Texas. Colin Allred is challenging Ted Cruz for the Senate seat. Senator Cruz is seeking his 3rd term in the Senate. The Canadian-born politician was the first Hispanic American to serve in the U.S. Senate after being elected back in 2012. And Cruz narrowly beat challenger Beto O'Rourke in 2018. Meantime, Dallas area challenger Congressman Allred is a former NFL football player turned lawyer and politician. Colin has taken aim at Cruz and other Republicans' stance against women's reproductive rights, while Cruz has taken aim at Allred and other Democrats' lack of action on the Texas-Mexico border. Both candidates agree on at least one thing: growing the state's economy. In the big race tonight for president between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump, all eyes will be on the Electoral College. Some want to get rid of the college altogether. One reason is the popular vote winner has lost the Electoral College in 2 of the last 6 elections. Well, that's prompted calls to switch to a popular vote system. That requires a constitutional amendment, and that is highly unlikely. Let's get into it.
Why does the United States use the Electoral College to pick the president? The Founding Fathers were split. Should Congress choose the president, or should it be left to the people? The use of electors was the solution. When you cast your vote for president, you're deciding which electors will represent your state. The number of electors in each state is determined by how many seats in Congress that state has, and that number is based on the state's population. So, for example, let's look at California. Every state has 2 senators, so right off the bat, that's 2 electors. California, the most populous state, has 52 representatives in the House, so the Golden State gets 54 total electors. Whichever candidate wins California will get all 54 electoral votes. There are 538 total electoral votes. 535 for the states and 3 for the District of Columbia. 48 states are winner-take-all. Maine and Nebraska give 2 electoral votes to the statewide winner and 1 for the winner of each congressional district. A simple majority of 270 electoral votes is needed to win. If neither candidate gets to 270, the House of Representatives will determine the president, but each state delegation, regardless of the number of electors, must vote as one. So there are only 50 votes up for grabs. The Senate will determine the vice president with a simple majority vote of all 100 senators. The popular vote winner has lost the Electoral College in 2 of the last 6 elections, and that has prompted calls to switch the popular vote system, but that requires a constitutional amendment. And the minutes are ticking down until polls close, about 34 minutes or so to go until 7 o'clock. And Vice President Harris returning to Washington after her last campaign rally in Pennsylvania late last night. She plans to celebrate with supporters on the campus of the school where she got her undergraduate degree at Howard University. Here is NBC's Bree Jackson with more.
The day is finally here for Americans to weigh in on the presidential race.
We have the right to vote. And that's why I came with my daughter to vote and to show her how important it is to vote.
I've been looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to it being over.
After launching her campaign just 3.5 months ago,
I accept your nomination.
Vice President Harris made her final pitch to voters. Standing in front of the Rocky Steps in Philadelphia, Harris, who has said she's the underdog in this race, reminding voters what's at stake in this election.
We have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics that has been driven by fear and division. We are done with that. We're done.
If elected, Harris would start a new chapter in American history as the first woman president. She vows to be a leader for all Americans and urges supporters to do their part this election day.
We must finish strong, and this could be one of the closest races in history. Every single vote matters.
Today, voters will decide who wins the White House. On the campus of Howard University, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
All right, so we're switching over now to former President Donald Trump, who is in Florida tonight with plans to join supporters at an election party later on this evening. And NBC's Alice Barr, she's been following this race and has the details.
Former President Trump casting his ballot today in Palm Beach, Florida, alongside his wife, Melania.
I feel very confident.
A closing act of 9 years of near nonstop campaigning.
We have a great country, but we have a country that's in trouble.
Capped by a final rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan last night.
My last rally, can you believe it? The rallies, these big, beautiful rallies.
The former president visiting campaign staff before watching results come in at Mar-a-Lago. With the vote count likely to stretch beyond tonight, he's been sowing doubt.
What the hell's happening in the inside of those machines if you wait? We want the answer tomorrow, tonight.
Though today acknowledging he may not declare victory tonight as he did on election night in 2020 before all the votes were counted.
Could you see a world where you don't declare victory tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing the same things that you're hearing. I'm hearing states where I'm up by a lot, but they won't have a final number for a long time.
Later adding,
if I lose an election, if it's a fair election, I'd be the first one to acknowledge it. And I think so far, I think it's been fair.
Voters now having their say as the nominees and the nation wait for results. Former President Trump has made several references to this being his last campaign. Asked that directly today, he said, "I would think so." He also said he does not have a speech planned for when he's expected to address supporters here at the Palm Beach Convention Center later tonight. In West Palm Beach, Alice Barr, NBC News.
All right, that's just going to about do it for us here on 9+. We thank you so much for staying with us. You have about 30 minutes or so until those polls close tonight. Remember, if you're in line before 7 o'clock, you can stay there. The polls will not close while you're in line. So stay in line if you're there before 7. Your voice will be heard, and make sure you get out and do that. We're going to keep you up to date on the latest numbers throughout the night. Later tonight on NewsWest 9 at 10, we will have the live election results. We hope to see you then.